Hey everybody, it's Kirk here with Space Pickle Designs, and today we are making 3 earring designs with varying degrees of difficulty with this month bargain bead box in Dusty Rose. So watch the tutorial and then comment down below which design is your favorite. I look forward to see which design wins. So let's go ahead and get into the first tutorial. Alright, so the first pair that we're going to make is this cute little earring here, and I just pulled out some, let me see, put that right there. I pulled out some of this antique copper craft wire from Softflex, and because this is a 22 gauge, I am going to do wire wrapping on it. And so what I want to do is I have I have segmented 6 links of chain. All the rings are closed, and I am just going to feed this on here. I'm going to feed every ring through like this. And you just kind of like bunch it together to make sure that it is going to kind of come together in a nice little knot there. I'm going to get my rhodonite faceted bead. I'm going to get one of my crystals, and I picked one of the purple that are not the like this bluish purple color, so this is more of a like a clear one. So I bring that down, and I'm gonna make a sizable loop. So I'm pretty far down. These are fine nib pliers, so the loops this far down are not like super huge or anything like that. But I've made a loop, so this is the size of loop that I want, because I'm going to go ahead and attach our charm. At this point, it doesn't matter which direction that you do that. And then I'm going to clamp down on the loop and make 3, I believe. Yep. And then towards the back, so you'll see like this is the front, so you want to clip your wire off towards the back. And I am going to do that here. And then I'm going to feed my components down. And it looks nice. And I'm going to give myself about 1.5 inches of wire on the tail end, so I just cut it off. I just find it's a little bit easier to make wire wraps when it's not on the spool. So again, I kind of want to come down on the pliers, and I'm going to make the loop the same direction that it already is. So no need to make a perpendicular loop or anything like that. And we are mirroring loops now. And because this is 22 gauge, it's pretty well behaved when it comes to wire wrapping with your hands. And you just want to make sure you go all the way down until it meets the chain. Right. I will take a little bit of this here. Make sure we're towards the back. And we can straighten up this component once we clip off this excess. And here we go. And then I just chose an antique copper ear. It's not an ear wire, I guess it's like a lever back. And here is our cute little pair of earrings. They are very sweet, and I really like that little accent with the copper. Maybe I'll do some more things with that copper chain. This next earring that we're gonna make is this little beauty here, and you're gonna need to pull some ear wires from your stash and some 20 and some 22 gauge wire. So we're gonna start with these really cute little components down here that are hanging down. So we want to make our like little dangles, And so it's really simple. It's just little simple loops. These are like little techniques that you can just put together to make like this really cool looking piece. So I'm gonna take my 20 gauge. I'm gonna warm it up a little bit. I'm going to square off the end. I'm making the middle one here. I'm gonna put 5. So we have our 5. We're just gonna make simple loops. And you want the loops to be perpendicular to one another. All right, so we have our first loop. I'm gonna bring that down, and I just make sure that the loop is like this before I grab the component and bend. Kind of sets me off on a pretty good path. So bring that component up. Just make the simple loop. And they are perpendicular, the holes, or the loops are. So I'll straighten it out a little bit, but here are the components. So we made one with 5, 2 with 3, and 2 with 1. It's the same technique. And then we make our bicone components that are hanging off the end there. And I'll kind of lift you up and zoom you in a little bit. So I have a 22 gauge here that I want to use, and I'm going to move these off to the side. I have my bicone. I'm going to go ahead and thread it on. Sorry, I'm going to go ahead and thread it on. So take that little piece and you just whip it around like this. And then I like to clamp it down. So we're essentially making it like a little head pin. You bring your bicone down, you grab the bicone, and you just bend, because we're just making simple loops here. With this little bicone, make a simple loop. And you want to make 5 of those. So I've gone ahead and made those 5 components. What you can do now is attach your bicones. Doesn't matter which side you're attaching it to. Since they are perpendicular, it's gonna work out, right? So I put one bicone at the end of the first component. Another bicone. We take our biggest component. Component of 3. Then our component of 1. So we want to put these all together. And to kind of make that easier, I'm going to go ahead and start with a loop. I'm going to probably cut off 3 inches just so we have some room to work with. There will be a little wastage on that. But we just make a simple loop on the end. This is where our chain will attach to. We have our simple loop. And we want to do bicone, the component with 1, bicone, the component with 3, bicone, the component with 5, bicone, the component with 3, bicone, the component with a 1, and then bicone. So with this, we're wasting a little bit, but we can put that in our scrap pile. So we have our little loop here, and I do want there to be a little bit of a bend. This is kind of where you want to do it, because doing that and keeping the loop straight is just pretty difficult. So I'm gonna bend it up. We're essentially just making another simple loop. End. So now we have a component with a little bit of a curve to it, with the loops facing the same way on the ends. And then we take our chain component, and so I made this pretty simple. I've taken 25 links of this chain. The 13th link is what I have my little marker in, because that will be the link that we put our ear wire on. So we're not even going to mess with jump rings or anything like that. All we have to do is attach this component to it, and we just make sure that we don't get our chain kinked. Okay. So I'm going to hang this down. Just want to make sure that our chain is not kinked. Secure that. See how it lays. And then with this, you can take your marker off and add your ear wire. I have blended both antique copper and regular copper on this one. Right. So here are our really cute little statement earrings for our next pair. How do you like them? I think they're pretty fun. And this is like a more of a time-consuming project if you wanted to make something that wasn't just a simple little stacker, so to speak. But I think it looks pretty nice. It's definitely sparkly. It'll definitely grab some attention. So let me know what you think about this one. All right, so this last pair is like just a super easy, beginner-friendly kind of pair, and I chose bright copper to go with this one because I wanted there to be like just a little bit of a pop of something. I picked 2 round beads that were really dark in color, and then I picked my darkest pair of the round coin beads just because I liked them. And so I'm going to use this 20 gauge craft wire again, and we are going to do that like little head pin technique again. So you don't need a head pin. You can use one if you want to. But we're just making that little loop on the end, squishing it down, and then bringing our bead down. And then we are going to make a simple loop. Now I'm making these loops, pretty tiny. Not like micro or anything, but I just don't want it to add any more length than we need to. We're just making simple loop components. Now I know this is pretty simple, but it's still like, I know it's not like crazy technique or anything, but it still looks really nice. Sometimes I get tempted to like go ham on the technique, and it's like, why? If it doesn't even make the piece look nicer, Sometimes I just gotta reel myself back a little bit. We did one that was a little more complicated in the previous design, right? And this one's just a nice, easy breezy situation that we can just have fun with. That's all it's about, is having fun. So I'm just making sure these loops are the same. They're not perpendicular. And then the top one, let me get a bead cap. I'm gonna feed my bead cap on first, my round, and then we're making, again, simple components. Name of the game. And this one, I do want to make it perpendicular. You can make those adjustments on the back end as well. Okay, that looks pretty good. What we're gonna do is just assemble. Putting my metal bead in the middle. And then of course our dangling coin at the bottom. And then we attach our ear wire. And this one is just so, it just looks so like nice, like expensive, classy, everything that I'm not, you know? But I really love these darker rhodonite beads. I'm like a super fan of these. Not so much the pink ones, but I really love these dark ones. They're just so earthy and cool. And so let's go ahead and take a look at all three designs that we did today. And I would like for you to vote for which one is your favorite. All right, so here are the little beauties that we made. I thought we had a little bit of fun together tonight. And so our first pair, just to recap, are these really cool ones. Straightforward stacker situation with the dangle, but we added a little bit of a twist when it comes to adding some of that chain at the top for a little bit of visual interest. So that's earring design 1. Earring design 2 is this really cool like chandelier component that we just made with some wire. We didn't even have to waste our head pins on this because we made our own. So that's design number 2. And then our expensive, too cool for school, earthy, like seductive vibe design on number 3. And this is just a chain link earring. And again, we made our own little head pins. So please let me know down in the comments which one was your favorite. If you didn't like any of them, you can say that too. But let me know like what designs you have in mind for the bargain bead box, and I can't wait to see which design wins in the comments. I hope everybody's staying safe and well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.